for party affiliation, you can.
I'm sure they'll have to do that, yeah. But they're moving it past the house, and I don't think December will fight it. So instead of September, it'll be late June.
That's a mistake. You should leave it with the second Tuesday.
Well, they claim it's incumbent favoritism because you only have a couple of months to campaign before the November.
You know, it won't matter how many it is.
Oh, I get
The
it.
incumbent will always have an inherent advantage because of name recognition.
Yeah.
Good or
I'm
bad.
glad to see you don't have any strong feelings about it.
I tell you.
All right, we do public comment. Oh, here she goes. All right.
Mrs. Baker.
Hello.
Hello, Mrs. Bakey.
Hello, Chief Briggs. So I have two things. The first is tomorrow I'll be sending out my deed notices. Here is the list of the properties that are up for deeding.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bakey.
So they'll have 30 days from tomorrow, and then I'll present you with the deeds.
Do you want me to make contact with any of these people?
If you'd like to.
Okay.
The first one on the list came in today, they paid me $3,000.
Okay.
So if they don't come up with the rest of it, we will have to return that money to them. Per RSA, we have to return the money.
You either have to do the whole amount
Correct,
or not.
correct.
Okay.
Not those sweetheart deals where you can create a payment plan or...
That's all your side, but you cannot do it solely for the benefit of the taxpayer. So you have to have
The property owner, it has to be for
the taxpayer, the property owner, correct. You have to have a reason, like there's asbestos or there's oil in the soil. There has to be a reason. You just can't because the taxpayer doesn't have the money.
I would say it's pretty good collections though.
We have a 96 percentile of collecting taxes for the last 3 years.
Congratulations. That's very
Good
good.
work.
Yep.
That's very good.
Right now we have a balance of $279,000 is all that's due for all the tax years for 18, 19, 20.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It's very
That is
good.
pretty good. Does Gail go beat them up if they don't pay?
She does.
She's a hard ticket.
She's my enforcer.
I don't doubt it.
The second thing is more of a personal item. This is a birdhouse that was handmade by a resident in Kingston. I purchased myself 25 of them, and I would like to sell them and any profits to go to Graham. And I just wanted to know if I can sell them at the town hall. I don't know, I don't want to cross any lines. I don't want to, it won't go through the cash register. It won't go, like I said, I paid for them personally, so I just don't know how you feel about it, what the rules are. We're collecting money for the cow patty, for the Tai Chi and the rec camp and,
Is there going to be a Beanie Baby sticking out?
no beanie babies. So I just didn't know how you felt about it. I don't want to get you guys upset about anything.
It's a fundraiser to help the fire chief. I don't see why not. As long as you don't commingle the funds, I think you're good to go.
Yeah, it's totally separate.
That's my personal opinion.
I think it's a wonderful idea that you took this on your own. I would the only thing I would caution, I have no issues with it, but if it was someone in a similar circumstance, we'd have to do the same thing.
Yeah, that would be my point too, is that just because he's a fire chief doesn't make him any more special than somebody else that
Yeah.
loses their house or a situation.
But I think typically as a town, anytime we can help someone out, we would, anyway, resident or not. So I
Well, you can also say that Tammy is also, I mean, this is something that she wanted to do to help the chief. She's just asking if she can do it on our time, our time.
Right.
It's basically what's being asked here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any issues? Anyone else? Okay.
Okay? All right, that's it. Have a nice evening, gentlemen.
What's the last day on dogs?
I'm sorry?
What's the last day to license your dogs?
April 30th, we have 520 more dogs to do. I sent out an email today to everybody to remind them. We've sent out postcards to people that we don't have an email address for. So we tried putting it on social media. So we're trying.
Ms. Bakey, while we're waiting for you, I informed the rest of the board that the state did vote and pass the House to switch the September primary to late June. I don't know if you're aware of that.
But it hasn't passed the Senate.
It hadn't passed the Senate yet, but it passed the House.
Huh, isn't that swell?
Just an FYI.
That's a nicer reaction than mine.
We're on TV, right?
Yeah.
That didn't stop Ellie. Thank you for coming in.
I'll get back to it.
Okay.
Before you, can I ask what you're selling it for? Are they
$45.
$45.
Yep. And if anyone wants one that says Fremont or Brentwood or anything like that, he can make those too. And four different colors. I picked
But you're not
red.
gonna sell them, say Brentwood or Fremont at the town hall, are you?
Well, if someone wanted to buy one, yeah, I would have him make it.
I would reserve one for me.
Okay.
Could you make Kevin's wheels up?
Put mine for Atkinson. Kingston's
Put
done with it
360
now.
on the
Go
back.
somewhere else.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment, anybody on Zoom? Okay, committee liaison reports.
I talked about driveways in the planning board, and I think we've got driveways coming up later, so I'll wait till then to talk about it. Then we'll sell driveways later. But basically, I got a why type response. Why do we want authority over when nothing will change? And I don't know if it's I don't understand their question. I don't understand our question on why we want to take it over. I mean, because they've given it to Rich to enforce and to be in charge of it. And that's what we're going to do.
I think it would probably be beneficial to have Rick St. Blair attend one of these meetings with you to present why, rather than getting into all of them.
Well, maybe I should tell them to go to the planning board meeting since we're Zoom. Tell them why.
I did get back to frontage.
And then
Oh, I'm sorry.
one other thing is Rich has talked to me about the parking place across from the state park. He would like to eliminate that totally, grass it in, and then put a right-of-way down the road for parking with spots along the road, build the right-of-way bigger. He thinks that it would be neater, easier to maintain, because they don't plow the other one, they try, but they can't really do it. He says that way they can just go down through there and wipe it out for parking. Just a thought that he had. I told him I'd bring it up, I forgot last week.
How's he gonna have the cars parked?
Huh?
He's gonna have it head in?
No, he's gonna have it like parallel parking type thing, but have big enough spots people can pull into it.
So they won't be opening the door into traffic, right?
It'll be on the right side, going this way.
But they're not gonna be opening the doors into traffic, so.
Yeah, but if the right of way is big enough, they won't be. Or if they're curved, shoulder.
How do you, just regular parking like any other city?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd certainly keep people from making it bigger.
And that's part of what we're commenting about is that, we're not enforcing, or I don't think we're enforcing the residential parking thing. And he says it'd be hard to enforce because people don't really park in front of the signs if they aren't. In this way, they could do that and then put signs all down through there. Just a thought, think about it.
Can he do like a sketch or something like that?
Yeah,
Visual aid. A visual aid.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be formal. We don't need to hire an architect or anything.
I'll rent a thing and take a picture of it.
I'd just be curious how he would grass off that area without people, like he'd have to put up some sort of barrier.
Have to put boulders in it.
Because people would just continue parking there, you know, we could, that would be the
It's
hardest
nice
part.
though, I mean, you've got this beautiful grass area, and then you've got like a gravel pit.
It does, it's a dust bowl, you know, it does, yeah.
If we can figure out a way to make that look better, I would support it. Let's put it that way.
Look at some boulders. It's
I'm
not-
on board with the intent, I just want to see the execution. I guess,
Okay.
personally.
Exactly.
So we're back to frontage. Had a lengthy conversation with the father and the son. They are riding junkyard, parts yard, whatever, but we couldn't do it. Told me he needed to go to the town, he didn't pull a permit. Talked to the planning board, he's establishing a business there. And I think he came to see Tori on either Thursday or Friday. And, so I'll double check. But I would say if he hasn't, then we need to do a cease and desist under RSA 236, semicolon 129, 127.
We had 3 others that we had to do as well, right?
Yeah, I was able to grab them, because they were out in the yard with the guys. The other thing that I have, it's something different. I use the special events license. It's the school again, like we had last year for the parade, for the graduation, which will be on June 11th. It's a car parade starting again at Bakey, going down the fire station side of the plains, going to the high school. Does anybody have a problem if I give them the authority to do that?
I thought that went good the last time, but that was
Yeah.
creative, it was thinking outside the box.
I was at Rick's watching the whole thing. It's pretty interesting.
The parents, I think, the kids, everyone enjoys it, so
It was good.
Yeah, good.
So you're all in favor of that?
Yep.
So I'll give the green light for that then. That's all I have.
Okay.
No HDC meeting this month. Nothing's come up, and I've been to one Kingston Days committee, and thank you, Kevin St. James, because he got buttercups, patty, deeds for sale. And Karen and I both supported them. Anyone wants to buy some? Pretty good. Our thanks.
I'll pay for your book.
I don't know, I thought you were gonna buy them from me, but you can buy from both of us.
No, he's buying a book for me.
Oh, I see, gotcha.
Alex,
All right, we did $10 each, so.
That's fine, I'll take mine.
Okay, all right. Do you have any numbers?
No.
Okay, I'll get you 5.
I have
I want all of them.
That's all right, never mind. Let's see what else. I know they have another meeting this week as well. It seems like they're gonna try and do what they've done in the past. They seem confident that they can pull it off, and a lot of things are in place. I'm still skeptical because it's still, to me, a lot of work, but they're confident and gonna do what I can to
I'm sorry, which, were you talking about that?
Kingston Days, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna do like Friday night through Sunday, and I don't know, I would have thought they should have scaled it down, but
I don't know how you scale it down because the tents are there, and if the fire department does their lobster fee, you know, you just have something very minimal on Friday night, because you're paying for the tent anyways.
I know, I understand that, and I applaud their enthusiasm, I really do. I just, I want them to be successful, I just don't want them to be disappointed, that's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm working on this is a fundraiser,
Right.
not a fun loser, so.
Yeah, well, if we do well on the deeds, if we sell them out, there's 1,000 to be sold, they're half the price they were the last time. If the townspeople supports us through these here, that'll give us, it'll pay for half the event without any question, never mind any fees from vendors and crafters and so forth. So we'll see. We're all ready for a party on the plains, I understand that. I understand. So, that's it tonight, for now.
actually, I'm sorry, take a step back. I do have a lot to say. I am Paul Butler's liaison, and I met him twice at the playground. Once with Paul Butler, the playground manufacturer, and today with Paul and Rich Singer. And when I first met with the manufacturer, what he's looking to do, what Paul presented, so this is all kind of up in the air right now, but what Paul presented to the townspeople for the $29,000, that was taking the structure that's there, removing it, and replacing it with 1/3, maybe even a quarter of the size that it is. And then the guy was going to take some of the pieces that are there, incorporated differently, spread out. And then the outer structures, the little stuff, like do some modification, like the swings, he was going to sell us new swings and ball bearings. The monkey swing, he was going to replace those chains and that. The guy was kind of all over the place, and it's a particular brand, play structure, or I can't remember what it's called. It's a particular brand. He was going to replace it with lights, so it's sole source, so you can't go outside of this guy. It would have to be sole source, no bidding, no nothing. And then he mentioned, like, he was going to, there was 3 parts, and it's still, like, it's reusing half the structure. And I'm like, well, you're going to get rid of this tube, you're going to get rid of this connecting thing? And he goes, well, I can incorporate that again if you want to spend $6,900. I can reuse those parts. So I'm like, okay, well, let's go that route. And I told Paul that I will contact every business, made a list of it. I figured I was going to raise $6,900 so that we could expand it and make it half the size that it is. And then we go out there with Rich Singley, and today he's like, stop. You know, this structure is 30 years old. So you're keeping half of the old stuff still there. How much longer is the plastic going to degrade, everything else? You know, even if you redo this and you get 5 more years out of it, you know, what's the point? It maybe better go full out to bid, okay? Because, you know, you're going sole source. This guy knows he has you. So he said, maybe you can go out to bid and see what we can get. It's not going to be $29,000. It's definitely going to be more, okay? And I think the people, when they voted it, they see the structure there, they think it's going to get replaced. It's like, no, it's on such a small scale. So now Paul is deciding, and this is all Paul's decision, and maybe ours, but what he's thinking is maybe hold off, okay? And go out to bid and see what we can do and raise money. And if we need to go back to the voters for next year, do that. As long as he has a thing, you know, he can encumber that fund until next year, you know, and it'll give us time to raise money, because I'm saying, why don't we sell blocks again? Why don't we hit the businesses up, see if they'd be interested in donating money, and go that route, instead of getting this small little structure for $29,000 that is really, and Rich is all, he's like, rip this stuff out of here. It's 30 years old. Why are we keeping it?
I totally agree with Rich in that. There's no, I mean, the whole issue of what's there is in such tough shape. I bet it wouldn't pass the sniff test with the insurance company. Reusing parts of the playground where you're putting young kids on it. That doesn't make any sense. Send it out to bid. If the community needs to raise another $20,000, then maybe that's what we should do. The original was about $56,000, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. It was definitely.
It's definitely going to be more money, but at least you can have people bidding off each other and do something with it. But so Paul's going to, we just processed this today, but Paul's concern, which was mine, the email from this guy's all over the price of what we're getting for $29,000. Like, you can barely even pick it out of the book to say, this is what we're getting. It's a hodgepodge.
But don't forget, our local businesses are just, you know, we're really technically not fully out of COVID yet.
Yeah.
And so you can't keep hitting them up for things
Right.
too quickly. You know, give everybody a little breathing room.
Well, if we do that, it gives us till December to, you know, work with stuff. You know?
Through a year from now.
Right, but it's just he's worried about losing the money the voters already voted on this time.
No, but he can put in a warrant on it to encumber that fund towards the next, to the a fully funded playground.
I don't know if you can. I think in order to encumber funds, you have to have a bill or an estimate.
Okay.
So-
We're getting into more.
Technically.
Technically, you're absolutely correct, but there may be something we can do later, but right now.
So long story short,
What?
long story short, the playground's on hold for it.
Correct. There you go. I could have shortened the meeting. I'm sorry. I was, spewing a little out there,
Anything else?
No, he just was quick to say if only 2 other selectmen supported him, he would have been all set. He knows what 3 did, so to your credit,
And they can all get credit for the increased price tag too. All right, old business. 44 Main Street, follow up on code violations. I mean, the lettered vehicles and the trailers have been moved, so I would consider this a closed issue for now. I'll follow up with
Momentarily.
the 2 residents who called in to complain just to make sure that
They just cleaned it up, so.
Okay.
the blasting dates can be available from the website.
We're setting that up, and I've been telling people about it, like people in the Jericho area to spread the word. And she's talked to Romeo today and responded that they will tell her the dates, so I can ask CJ to provide.
Yeah, I mean, that can just be contingent on their blasting permit, their grant issues. Were you able to get that bird detail from him?
They've started, so I don't know what their completion time frame is. I will find out on that.
But did he have the drawing that would show what they were gonna do?
No, but I get a drawing. I think they're kind of winging that.
I thought he had some detail from.
Well, it has a detail on how it should be done, like where they dig it out so it'll stay in place.
Yeah.
So I'll get what he's got.
Okay, sale of town-owned land.
We're not ready to move forward yet on that, but we do have, I believe it's in the packets, a letter that Susan mostly drafted for the Senate Pillsbury pasture.
Yeah, that was good. I read that. I thought that clearly articulated the issue in the end.
If everyone's, I would like to at least get that, because that's sparked this whole thing, and these people are, getting a benefit of.
Right, time to bring it in. Speaking of emails, I love the new look.
The what?
The new look of the emails.
We have a new look.
Oh, I don't know
Mine
that.
is totally
Is it?
different. It's beautiful. It even has all kinds of ways to change things, save them, move forward.
So, sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
Wait, he's got an agenda tonight. Breathing
I believe you all do, actually.
A couple of them actually.
Do we need to put anything on here with regards to penalties for non-compliance?
I don't know, I worked with Kevin on it. We left it as,
it was kind of a stern, but, because I guess maybe we should, or that's the first notice, I guess. Maybe the second notice if they don't do anything is.
I would agree, because give them a chance to do the right thing. We outlined, the letter clearly states what needs to be done to restore the property as intended, and go from there.
Fair enough.
And if I could suggest mailing that certified so that they know they get it. And if not, then we'll hand deliver it.
All right, new business, town credit card. This is all Kevin.
Couple of things. I met with Cindy and she looked at 2 places, American Express and TD Bank to do a credit card. American Express turns out to be a nightmare that, I don't think we want to go that route. Okay? TD Bank, very nice, simple. They're willing to do a credit card. There's a rewards program, so if it's used for every dollar spent, you get $1 rewards. And we can do stuff with it later, which is great. And she said they have a Visa card, they can set up a municipal account. She made a comment that I said, well, the whole thing is we don't want to have to, the chief shouldn't have to give a social security number for it or any of that stuff, you know, we want a municipal account. She said, I believe we still have to take a credit card, a social security number, but let me check into it. And she called me back the next day and said they offer Visa, they could set up completely a municipal account, and it's reward dollar for dollar. And she said that whoever gets a card, we need their social security number, but we won't do anything with it. They said they don't pull a credit report, they don't do anything. It's only for the Patriot Act to verify that they're not a known terrorist. And that's all, no different than if you had to open up a bank account.
I don't know, chief.
It's like I'm not getting the card.
They said, no different than if you open a bank account, you have to provide that. But they said there's absolutely, if anything happens, it's the town's responsible, not the individual, that they will not pull a credit report, it won't show up anywhere.
So what's the intent? Is that for department heads to get credit cards?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty standard for a business. If a business is using your card, you have to provide your social for that.
Yeah, okay, so so that was the only thing, I checked with the department head so far, no one really had an issue with that, if they're not doing anything with it, they were okay with it, because I said I was concerned. When Cindy first looked into this, there was no such thing as a municipal account. Everyone needed a social security, it'd be on theirs with the sub.
It almost made the employee responsible for any purchases they made on behalf of the
Yeah.
town, is what it did.
So that's the discretion what the board wants to do. If you want to wait a little longer, make sure Partners is coming or not. But the next thing was that sparked with Cindy, who are we going to authorize to have a card? And my intention, what I thought we talked about was the police chief, the fire chief, the town clerk, Susan as a select board, and Cindy. And Cindy said, I don't want a card, I don't need a card, because if needed, I could use the Selectmen for that. And then she said, did you want Paul Butler to have it? Oh, Rich St. Hilaire. Rich St. Hilaire would be another authorizer.
Yeah, yes.
So I thought just those five, the fire chief, police chief, Rich St. Hilaire, Tammy Baby, and the select board. So 5, unless someone sees differently.
So these are the people that we've authorized under the manifest system to make.
Correct.
Up to whatever it was.
Well, that's the next thing. How much do you want to authorize them to spend up to? I was thinking 5,000 each. Not that they're going to, because they know what the purchase policy is, but if we gave them the authority to do something, so I don't know what you want to do. Because what Cindy was going to do is, if everyone can have 5,000, she would get, $25,000 credit limit on the card. And it's paid monthly, but she's just trying to figure out, so that's why this is on the agenda.
Now, how are we going to control that as far as budget?
Easy. It's no different than a POs. Cindy is going to be the
Just gonna
invoice.
write a PO and then pay it with credit card?
Correct.
Anything 1,000 or over has to have a PO.
No. Okay.
No, but he's authorized, if he does anything, he's he's gonna attach to the PO, just like these are right here. It's just gonna it's paid by the credit card. And Cindy, he doesn't see the bill. Cindy sees the bill. So if, someone decides to, shop on Amazon, it's gonna be, hey, what did you buy? We're gonna see the same bill,
The chief buys 3 new trucks and 2 vans.
Save
$5,000.
That's a good
If
buy.
anyone can do it, that could.
So 5,000 is the limit that we currently have on department heads, correct? POs?
I don't know. PO is 2,000. Anything over 5,000 is still bid, I think.
Well, the thing about a $5,000 limits, they can do 510 times.
Yep.
True. We could put a maximum purchase on that too. I mean, like for my protection, I have a $500 limit per day on my ATM card that I put on there. So if somebody steals it, they can't get $1,000. And we could do the same thing with credit cards, that they have a $500 daily limit and a $500.
500 isn't much though, considering if you're buying something. A radio is $2,500.
But I thought this was more for all the
okay? If they're gonna give you reward dollars, dollar for dollar, I'd be using that credit card East Coast Lumber before they're cashing out. You know, if you're getting dollar for dollar,
What are you gonna do with these reward points, though?
that's to be determined later. If you wanted to buy a current for the office, or a printer, or a camera, or...
I don't think we should encourage staff members to use a credit card for purchases to get reward points.
Well,
I concur with that.
I-
That's a shell game they have you play to make you feel like you're winning. The house always wins.
well, it shouldn't be for everything, but we gotta set up a policy for it. You know, that's, I think...
I agree with the 5,000.
Yeah.
I think that's because, as Rich said, you know, it could be multiple purchases that they have to do. I think we have faith in our department heads. If they're not people that we can't trust with $5,000, they really shouldn't be a department head. And so,
Okay.
Let's do baby steps here, because I don't think we should be charging, I don't want to repeat myself, it just,
I think we kept to the intent of just not making people buy stuff out of their own pocket all the time and having to get reimbursed.
It's happening, I was surprised to find out how often it's happening between the police chief, the fire chief, and even Tammy downstairs. Everyone is doing stuff.
All the time.
That is like, it's crazy. You know, I mean, the police association was, for lack of a better phrase, whitewashing money for the police department, which is crazy,
For
you know?
Yeah. I used, the last several years, I used my credit card.
yeah,
So, okay.
What are you looking to?
That's up to the board. Okay, my thing would be, do we want to wait and see if partners come before we open up a new account with
Yes.
TD Bank? I think this is a nice way to open the door with them or whatever, but I think we'll have an answer pretty quick.
Friday, and the lady was in here, and she seems to think they will have a definite answer by the end of the month.
Yeah.
She's looking for someone to run the bank. I had her, Richard said thought he had someone, so I had her call him.
I don't think we should go with TD Bank no matter what, I mean, they're
I
leaving
agree.
town. I'd rather go somewhere else if it doesn't work out with partners. But let's give partners a chance. If they're committed to coming into town, we can, even if they don't come in for another 3 months, I just.
All right, so I'll hold off on this still, but at least we got answers, because that was the question. Who was going to be authorized? I'll say those 5 people, and 5,000 credit limit each.
And I would just say, if we can get the terms of the card.
Yep.
So we can actually take a physical vote on it. with-
Then I will work on that in the meantime to get that as the next stage. Okay. The only other thing, like, I had a conversation with Partners Bank because it brought to my attention that, you know, it was asked about mutual bank and how they insure. Cindy brought a concern because she said TD Bank is all our funds are fully insured with TD Bank, and she was concerned if Partners only does the FDIC, $250,000. So I did ask the lady, and she said, absolutely, all funds are 100% fully guaranteed. They partner with 10 other banks, and they're no different than TD Bank. TD Bank basically has a insurance policy on the funds. They do the exact same thing. And that lady told me, she said, finance directors are always a little iffy. She said, I have no problem sitting down with her with our finance director to explain that if the town of Kingston decided to do some business with us, your funds are well insured beyond the 250 for the full dollar amount. And she said, they do the town of York. And I can't remember the other town now, but town of York used them. The town of York is a lot bigger than Kingston.
Yeah, she spoke with me on Friday. I used Rich's number. But the big thing is they want to make sure they're going to get somebody to manage the bank. That's what they're looking for. So if you know
I've
anybody,
got a meeting with the person that I talked to her about tomorrow, so should have some answers tomorrow for sure.
Yeah. That's all I have.
You've been busy.
Well, just you guys can't be visiting everywhere doing all the work yourselves, you know?
Okay, board business. Got the final draft of the code enforcement officer job description. Any further issues?
Go get them.
It's good.
I thought it was good.
Make a motion, we accept that. As written.
Second.
Second, further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Alessio?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Coombs?
Yes.
St. James?
Yes.
And Wilson?
Yes.
Point of order. When is this going to be posted or? All right, so, all right, there you go.
Posted, advertised. Right?
Do we have any applications for the health officer?
Nope.
Is that's posted?
Yes.
And where we posted that, Indeed and
HMA.
HMA and
And the
Indeed?
website, I
Or
didn't put it on Indeed.
I should consider Indeed, I would
I
think.
think the enforcement thing we ought to consider that, sure.
On Indeed.
Yeah, it reaches, I mean, unless the cost is just prohibitive because it reaches a lot of people.
I would even do both of them, to be honest. I mean, I just think we should.
Reach out.
I don't know what the charge is, so they used to be cheap, now it's not, so.
Okay, the right to know policy.
That was just a,
I like the revised one, 50 cents for the first.
Yeah, and that was based on
10 cents
this,
thereafter. Yeah.
this court case. There's still nothing hard and fast what you can and can't do, but this, through MHMA, there's this article about the court case that.
that's reasonable.
I think it's reasonable, yeah.
It has to be, I had someone wasn't happy with the bill they sent. And they were correct. I had to cut back on the amount of money that I was charging, so it has to be reasonable.
It has to be reasonable. Again, I would reiterate, it's not, the whole thing is not about the cost of the copy. It's the time to do it and everything else that's being encapsulated.
But that's not what you can charge.
I think the 50 cents for the first 10 pages and 10 cents there is a reasonable
Yeah.
charge.
You make a case that that's covering your copier cost.
And it keeps doing any unnecessary stuff, you know, they might ask for another 10 pages or something else just because it's cheap enough, you know, it eliminates some of that.
It's not the cost of labor, you can't add that in. It's the cost of what it costs you to buy that pamphlet and put it in the
And put it
copy.
through the machine.
I would disagree with that.
Yeah, the whole point of the right to know is that people have a right to the documents that are available to the public. So we as a municipality cannot unreasonably charge
That's
you
right.
to obtain that information. So this is our cost without the labor involved.
Without the labor.
But by the same token, it is enough of a bite there that they're not gonna look for they're looking for exactly what they want as opposed to everything we've got.
Yeah.
There's a difference there. So I think this is pretty good.
It is.
So yes, I would move that we go with 50 cents a page for the first 10 pages and 10 cents thereafter for Susan's recommendation. Or 12 cents per page for color copies, right? That was the other one, right?
Yeah, and I don't think we need to do that if we're gonna do it this way.
Okay, all right, then that's fine.
I would second it.
Okay, motion and second, further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Alessio?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Coombs?
Yes.
St. James?
I'll abstain.
Abstain. And Wilson?
Yes.
Okay, public comment number 2.
Everybody?
All right, correspondence. We will talk to Mayor regarding this one. Rich? Were you able to talk to these guys about the excavation?
I mean, it's what they do every year, they have to file every year, I'll talk to them. Still have an issue with that being an honor system with any of those because, I mean, Parks is taking stuff out of there by the truckloads, just trucks lined up coming off of Smallbox Road.
So we have some items from So Rock they would like the cable channel. There's screenshots of them here. You want to take a look and approve or disapprove as you see fit.
So you can put those together.
Notice they're running consolidated communications. It's having subcontractors run fiber optic cable all through town. Have you seen them?
Right, is that open to anyone, any resident that wants to purchase their internet through them? They can contact Consolidated Communication.
A lot cheaper, that's what I'm saying.
I've had internet from them right along.
So they're going to do every road in town. It's going to take them 3 to 4 months to do it. They've been here for a month. And if you see a number of trucks, that's what they're doing. They're running fiber optic cable from the main office over here on Bartlett Street. And they're expanding out from there.
Does someone need a phone line to do that, or do they just like use service altogether in there?
Sorry,
Does someone need a phone connection to do that, or is it independent?
I don't think so.
You do need a phone number for it, but it doesn't have to be your main house number.
I did call just out of curiosity because I saw them doing that, and it was an ad, I can't remember where I saw it, but Consolidated for fiber optic internet, and what they said is that it's not in Kingston yet, and they didn't have an estimate of when it would be available in Kingston yet, but I would like to see an alternative to what I'm paying right now for internet, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I stayed, they came through Verizon, and I stayed with them for internet. It's not fiber optic, although I will be making the change.
Just
but they've
DSL.
improved they've improved the service that they currently have, and it's fairly reasonable.
If they don't offer that, I can't get that in my house.
There used to be the Verizon line. No?
Don't offer the DSL part of it.
It's too far away.
Only certain places in town.
Okay, well,
And when I just redid my dish on my house, and the guy from Dish told me how this consolidated thing is gonna work, is you're gonna put things outside to shoot at your house, so you don't need anything. So that's what everybody will be before long, that it'll be wireless too.
I did see though, because it had prices, you could have 5 megabytes, I think 100 megabytes and then 1 gigabyte, and it was staggered pricing. So the 1 gigabyte was $89 a month.
Really?
I just got a good
I
advice.
had 10. And it's 42, 43 bucks a month.
Yeah.
Pretty reasonable.
I got a gigabyte at my house for $82 a month for internet.
Might have even been $81.95, I don't know what it is, but because Comcast, what they're doing now is tighter restricting your usage. If you go over so much.
This Fremont, Kingston, Newton, Prom. I see you haven't signed this.
Did you see that one?
The promenade walkthrough pictures on the planes.
I haven't seen it.
All right, we have an appointment for Holly Roulette to the Kingston Days Committee. Any issues with that? This was in our packet last week, but there was a resident requesting a sign to be placed up on their cul-de-sac.
I need to be done, or is it the street?
I would just say, for the sake of, no alcohol is
And no, well, that is the only legal one we can do.
Yeah, that's all I would like. No alcohol.
I want one on our cul-de-sac too then. So we have the same issue. I think everyone in town is gonna have the same issue if they start.
I don't have an issue doing
A
that.
lot of people come in and think they can go across the tracks and everything in my neighborhood and just come in to the circle and leave, and most of them very fast.
Are you aware of this,
Where does
Chief?
Sean drive?
Up here, up off North Road.
Off which road?
First,
Oh, the one right past,
Yes.
okay, I know what it is.
right across from Tammy's house. So,
Are we signing this one now that it's signed by Briggs, or this is the Kingston places?
Do you know what that is?
yeah, they're gonna do pictures on the planes.
I'll sign it before you give it back.
I just want to know, are we okay signing? You just want to take a vote, or?
We don't know.
I don't know.
I would sign it if I were there.
Former school board member.
You are the highway liaison, correct?
Yeah.
You want to just check with them and get his thoughts on that before we go committing to anything?
The one thing in their favor is the children on the cul-de-sac. Wait, is it that, I mean, there's only 4 houses, you know what's going in there.
I'll go out and mess up with it, I'll see it. I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I don't think legally no outlet is pretty much the only one we can put up. People want, it's not a
Yeah,
running
I
garage,
mean, signs can be good, but signs can be bad. It gives you a false sense of security. You know, children playing and that type of thing. People that are speeding, like on your road, they don't care if they get children playing signs or whatever. They're speeding. We're stopping them, writing them tickets. So, I mean, a sign gives you a false sense of security, which could be bad. So, I'll go and see what it is and see if we can help
It
her.
sounds small, if there's only 4 houses, like Chisholm Road, there's 4 houses in Chisholm Road.
The other thing it does, it makes people think well, people aren't gonna be coming down the street, so it makes it a better target to rob.
I'll,
Yeah, that's true.
can you send me a picture of that tomorrow?
A picture
Was there a complaint letter or something?
the letter.
Yeah, that'd be great, thank you.
It's in the packet.
I'll go up and-
It was in last week, I don't know if you still got it. So.
It's in our packet.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, DES wants money for
Oh, yeah,
costing us money.
send them $1 a month.
What's the board's thoughts on this?
Send us something.
They wanted
He said pay?
He said, hey, when they start rumbling. Wasn't that what he said?
That might have been the exact legal advice we got, actually.
I would follow the advice of our attorney.
Well, they're just looking to know if it's been received. Say yes, it's been received.
Well, it's addressed to you, so
the email came.
I'm a professional debt creditor, so if you want me to handle this, I certainly can.
Oh, we'll look into that.
Call me right away.
Is there a full moon tonight?
I think we should pay it.
I think we should pay it because
There's other legal ramifications that could come in behind that.
I'm not in that, but they,
Well, okay, here's my stipulation on this. Do we have an itemized invoice on this? What they're charging us
original
for?
one did.
Why don't you ask them if they can send us an itemized invoice of the cost that they're proposing to us?
send it first.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily itemized.
Dragging it out, you're delaying.
I don't think we'll mess with the state for a couple of reasons. One is they cut it down, like the government testing our waterways, and we don't want to get notice the town doesn't pay, and them say, well, we're not gonna.
I think that would be a legal issue we should probably discuss.
I mean, we we've discussed it with council, but again, I don't think that them just making up a number and sending us,
No, I think we need an itemized bill.
Itemized bill would be
Yeah,
appropriate.
definitely need an itemized bill. Without a doubt.
because I don't recall seeing that, it was like management services, a one-line thing they gave us, and it was like,
I think that's all I got.
Yeah, it's
so
not
if
good.
there's an itemized bill, we'd like to see that. And receive everything. Okay,
Motion to approve the minutes of April 5th.
I'll second that.
okay, got a motion and a second, further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote please.
Alessio?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Coombs?
Yes.
St. James?
Yes.
And Wilson?
Yes.
All right, and the last thing I have is the agreement between, who is this with, Unitil Energy Systems for the
Lighting.
lighting.
I think we could do better than that.
Motion to sign it, we've already done it once. Motion to authorize the chair to sign the
Yeah, I think
contract.
let's get this off the table now.
Okay, got a motion?
Second.
Okay. Further discussion? Roll call vote please.
Alessio?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Coombs?
Abstain?
St. James?
Yes.
And Wilson?
Yes.
Are you okay if they're doing, if that is now signed, release the check to Affinity? City was holding that check.
I would say so.
We've signed the final contract.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been signed, we were just holding the check. So can you let City know to release the check to Affinity? Forgot to mention, if anyone cares or recalls, tomorrow they're gonna be moving the rec building to face the other direction.
Oh, for sure now.
Well, it's up, I believe it's doing tomorrow. Can you sign, oh, you already signed it.
Yeah, I saw that today, they had it already en route.
It'll definitely be better because they found out now, people are using it because it faces the other way, not for so pleasant thing. Yes, he informed me, but anyways, it'll be good.
Wi-Fi out there?
What?
Were your Wi-Fi out there?
Yeah.
Okay, that will conclude the public portion. What?
We had talked earlier about meetings with department heads on a regular
We
basis.
talked a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, about having a daytime meeting once a month. And I want to recommend or make a motion that we have a daytime meeting the fifth Monday. Any months there's a fifth Monday during the day and not at night, which will basically give us one every 3 months, give or take a little bit on that schedule. And we'll figure out what to do about summers, based on when we meet there. So we eliminate the fifth Monday night. Every time there's a fifth Monday meet during the day.
What about one summer?
That's what I said, we'll have to deal with that, seeing how our area falls.
June and July have no fifth Mondays, it would be August. so that-
All they always has a fifth Monday.
It comes almost at a good time as we go into the fall. I'm going to second that motion, and Richard and I were talking about it. I think we need to have a meeting with our department heads at the same time and talk about the number one for team building, because, we talk with Graham, we talk with Rich, but it's usually individual as opposed to collectively. There may be issues on personnel, there may be issues on vacation time, and that would be the time to talk about some of these things. Maybe, I'm grasping for the types of issues that may or may not happen, but it gives the department heads an opportunity to give us a heads up about some of the things that are going on, that we all collectively hear it. Someone like Cindy might talk to one of us individually with a good idea, but she needs authorization from all of us, not just one of us. And it would be nice to be able to bounce some of those ideas off the other department heads, so that if we're moving forward to make some changes, that they have input all at the same time, back and forth, give and take.
And we know summer is your busiest time, but there's only one in August. And, if one or two of us can't be here that given day, then there's still three. Just make sure you have at least three here.
It's just see if we need an opportunity for us and them to meet together collectively.
I'm curious what their opinion would be. I agree. I feel we're missing some of our meetings and the department heads aren't there. I don't know if that is enough, just 1/5 Monday.
We thought it was a start.
I was going to say, what if we asked them, because I would think if we could have the department head say every other meeting, and they don't have to stay for the whole meeting.
I think that'd be too much.
No.
You think so?
No. I don't think it should be part of this meeting. It ought to be a separate meeting with the department heads, so that's what we focus on.
They come to our, the problem is come to the meetings anyway. It's not the same as a team meeting. It's like we have a staff, you get them together on a regular basis, because you talk about things and you build, you maybe have some vision, maybe you have some questions, maybe you have silly things that need to be dealt with, but you just,
We could talk about points from our credit card about.
8 or 9 meetings a year. You're only at 8 or 9 meetings a year doing that. That's
I'm just basing it on, what is it, the school board, the superintendent, the business agent, the curriculum coordinator, they were all there at the meetings.
Yeah,
And the county, all the department heads were there at our meetings, it's like, I don't think it need to be every time, but I'm just saying in general, I agree, I don't think having a special meeting with them, but I even think at some of our regular meetings, it wouldn't hurt to have some of the people there.
Kevin,
Well,
we
we
are
do show up
not,
when there's issues, but, this gives us a chance to go over personnel issues, a lot of things.
you can't compare us to the school district who has 52 million administrators.
Say it again? I'm sorry,
I
Kate.
said you can't compare the town of Kingston, the structure, the management structure is nowhere near like the schools. The schools have a lot of administrative staff. It's a whole different ballgame. They have regular meetings amongst themselves. We don't. We don't have anything like that. We have one department head who could jump in if he wanted to, but maybe prefers not to. I don't know. If you want to think about it, you don't want to take on the table it. You need to start thinking about collectively meeting with our department heads to move forward.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Can I just ask that we have the dates for the remainder of the year
I
that we're
would agree.
proposing this take place
Yep.
and a proposed time?
All right. I'll look them up and email them to you, Phil, or to the team.
Or, yeah, just everybody, so we can all see it, and then we can discuss further next Monday.
So let's table it to the next meeting. Okay.
And there's not a 5th Monday this month anyway. First meeting would be May 31st, which is Memorial Day. So, I think
Actually, that's my birthday too. That's bizarre.
no, yeah, so we missed the first meeting for the holiday.
Is it, the holiday's actually the 31st?
You're all paid salary, make
Your
money.
birthday.
It is my birthday, yes. But I'm not gonna wait till Monday to start celebrating. Okay. So do you need to vote on the motion to table? No.
Have a motion in a second, and now,
Well, we should table it, right, so, yeah.
Okay, so you,
Okay, anything else for public? All right.
Keep up with it.
No, he has requested a non-public session per RSA 91-A, semicolon 3, comma 2. So that will conclude this evening's public portion of the Selectmen's meeting. We appreciate you joining us, and don't